Hi, Paul Ferris.
Oh.
Great to meet you, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, you're a very interesting man. Obviously,
Yeah.
best-selling book writer, a man in the film world.
Yeah.
Rumoured to have this movie coming out about your life as well. Now, obviously, tell us, today we've looked at Kevin Lane and John Toomey, all these guys who are allegedly behind bars for something they've not, categorically denied they've ever committed. The essence of fabricated evidence not coming to light. I mean, what's your sort of involvement in all of this, basically?
My involvement is a personal involvement because I've experienced police corruption firsthand. I know how difficult it is for other people to understand how passionately you believe in it. Right. There's more than Kevin Lane. There's more than people that are here fighting for justice.
Sure.
There's other people that's not got a voice, would love the support like us, and it's to do with fabricated evidence that's been used in open court by police officers that have been manufactured to such an extent to get a guilty verdict that's purely plagiarised on fictitious evidence, manufactured, and these people do that for results, irrespective of who they know who does it.
Sure. So I mean, obviously we all think in Britain it's a free state. We're lucky to live in a free world.
It's a police state. It's a police state. You saw a peaceful demonstration earlier on there. These people, some of the police officers are nice and chilled. Some of them are aggravated because it's against the grain of what they believe.
Yeah.
They believe all the police officers are all straight.
Yeah.
The same way that there's cheese on the moon. It ain't going to happen, is it?
No, sure. And I mean, obviously, particularly, looking at the Kevin Lane case and John Toomey, both of these are actually, there appears to be quite convincing evidence that were never brought before the courts. And even the fact that a police officer, certainly in the case of Kevin Lane, who's since been proven to have been corrupt, and he's actually behind bars.
Well, the asset value that Kevin's got is the police officer that was in charge at Spackman, DSI Spackman, has now got a criminal conviction.
Yeah.
He can't hide behind the name that he's got as a reputable member of the public, because by definition he's a criminal, and there should be a warrant issued for his arrest in Kevin's case.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of information involved in it.
Yeah.
The other police officers that are involved in other miscarriages of justice, it's very, very difficult because it's either a Masonic connection, it's either the Big Brother connection, it's either to do with they don't want the public to realise what the judiciary is actually doing on their behalf.
Sure.
They don't want it. And the more people that show up and show these support, the bigger the audience it gets, the more publicity it gets.
I suppose that's what it's about, is the awareness. People just wouldn't realise. I mean, I was like stunned and fascinated. I mean, I'm a South London lad myself, but I mean, you've seen a world that isn't through rose-tinted glasses, but to actually become aware of what looks to be a much bigger problem, or certainly something that needs addressing, it's frightening, isn't it, really?
I think what you've got is the frightening aspect of what's got to happen in relation to Kevin Lane's case. CPS are going into meltdown. The informant network is going into meltdown because Spackman has used and abused the informant network to get his own results.
Sure.
He is the law. He's the judge, he's the jury, he's the executioner, and he dances off with the commission and gets probably a cut off his snitches, off his informants for doing what they're doing. And the minute they investigate this, the system actually investigates themselves.
Yeah,
and they'll have an investigation about an investigation, and at the same time somebody still in prison waiting to get out. Kevin wakes up every day as much as everybody else and says, must be a fucking dream we're in. When are we going to get support? When they see support on the street for them, it doesn't matter who it is, people who are fighting a cause, we will take it up.
Sure. And I mean, obviously as well, looking at this, I mean, now I guess that the awareness as it's coming out and occasions like this, a peaceful march, demonstration, petition handed in, hopefully this is going to actually fast track the appeals process, isn't it? Because there's also a problem, it takes so long to get the actual appeals thing running, isn't it?
The problem with it is when the Crown authorities know the full evidential weight behind it.
Yeah.
They know the consequences, they know the ripple effect, The minute they investigate this, what is the ramifications of it? They've got to judicially review some of the CPS themselves.
Sure.
They've got to judicially review the informant network, and they've got to review the malpractice that's involved, not only in Kevin's case, but in a multitude of cases.
Sure.
I hold a distinct advantage to most people here. I have been fitted up, but I was never convicted.
Right.
I was one of the lucky ones.
Sure.
So this for me is a passionate journey. It's a bit of redemption for me.
Yeah.
And to be part of an organisation that's trying to do something fantastic.
It's phenomenal. I mean, what do you, at the end of the day now, I mean, probably a daft question, I mean, what do you hope from, what you've experienced, what do we hope is going to happen to stop all this?
Public awareness. It's got to be public awareness. You'll get other people's celebrities that's come along, want to do their thing, but the whole point about it is it's a humbling exercise. There's kids here, there's grandkids here, there's grandparents here, there's family that come first, and these sort of people, they just see the supporters here and they gain some sort of confidence, so that when they go on the next visit, they tell them, we walked for Trafalgar Square and we held the traffic up. And why did that happen? Is to bring public awareness.
Of course. And I mean, from your experience and your life now, I mean, hopefully this is something we might see in a broader picture, is it? A movie, a book? Or?
I think you'll see it in a more, not on a weekly basis, but you'll see it when the evidence has been collected properly.
Sure.
It's been analysed properly. It'll then go to solicitors, it'll then go to Silks for a legal definition on it. And then what we tend to do is amplify it, bring it down into street language and say, this is what fitted them up. This is the evidence that's behind it. Which took them the best part of 15, 16 years, some cases 20 years, and I believe every single miscarriage of justice case has got a thread of connection. And the thread of connection is the length and longevity of sentence that they've spent before they're freed. That's to make sure the old bills involved in it are retired or dead. The CPS are retired and dead. The judges are retired and dead. So when there's an investigation, not one single person can be held responsible.
Right.
What they will turn around and say is, the judicial review have took note and will change accordingly to issues that we feel need changed.
Sure.
And what they've got to address is the powers that certain police officers have got, and in my occasion, the independence nature of investigating police is a bit like asking Al Capone to investigate the mafia. It ain't going to happen.
No, sure.
You look at the word independence. What is this independence? You don't want XO Bill in it. You don't want. You want people. If it's good enough for a jury to sit and listen to evidence to convict people for these sort of sentences, surely it's good enough for a jury to sit to listen to the misconduct that's alleged. Why don't they do that? Because there are potential jury members at some stage that are going to remember it.
Well, I don't know. It's an incredible story. I mean, all I can say is, from the outside looking in, it's brilliant that guys like you, with your connections now and your media world where you're operating, can bring the attention of this and hopefully get to the bottom of it. But I mean, it's something that you just don't ever begin to believe it. It's
a bottomless pit. You'll never get to the bottom of it. What you've got to look at is investigate every single individual case, find a common thread what everybody's got here, and march accordingly. But to take on multitude of cases, that's for organisations that are committed to that.
Sure.
I'm here on behalf of, because I spent time with Kevin. I gave him a jail promise that if I get out and I can highlight his case, then I'll certainly do it. And I hope with the turnout and his friends, the families he's got, along with the other miscarriage of justice, that we've done them proud.
Well, as you say, all we can do, I suppose, is just keep waving the flag and bring it to the attention of the masses, isn't it?
Bring attention to these people. These are the people that make the decisions. They can shut the curtain and say, who's the riff-raff out there? But they read it in reputable newspapers. They'll see it on TV. And at some stage or another, you're going to get somebody come along and say, that's him back out there again. How do we stop this? How can we have our traffic flowing properly?
Yeah.
Do we need this? This is a democratic state. It's supposed to be. But when you get officers of the law that are misusing their position to get false results, then it's a meltdown. It's going to be a meltdown.
Well, it's just, I don't know, it's just mind-boggling, isn't it, really?
Well, when you've got, we use the analogy, Mr. and Mrs. Joe Public, they don't know anything. The nearest they'll come into involved in the police is their car's been broken into, their house has been broken into, or they go and report some other matter. They genuinely need to believe that this system works, and what they read about miscarriages of justice can't be true, but it might be. So the potential juror aspect of it is they're already contaminated before they get jury service. And things like this is an awareness for other jury members, potential jurors, not to believe every single strand of evidence, believe in what you hear and what you see from forensics, from different point of views. Most importantly, if an accused person can say, yeah, I've left my fingerprints on it, or yeah, I've got something like this, and it's a reasonable, rational excuse, and other evidence that's there that's been collected by the evidence gatherers, which is the police, that don't pass that information on to the CPS, then you have got, technically, the information that the Crown work on to gain a conviction, which is flawed. So then you have public interest immunity. And this information usually comes out, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years after. What good's that? Because the judiciary have then got to look at it, especially the CPS, and say, if the evidence in such weight and quantity that we've got was presented to a jury at their trial, would it have affected their verdict? Of course it would have. But trying to get the evidence is the hardest part.
Well, it's great what you're doing, and lovely to talk to you. Thanks for your time. And let's hope it breaks down some of these barriers. Cheers.